A lot of people I hear on the internet all the time will say things like, "There's no skill in Yu-Gi-Oh anymore. This game used to have skill back in 2000 and year,
Go
but
control.
it doesn't have skill anymore." And here's what they usually say. They usually cite things like combo decks. Oh well, you just drew the one card ib combo, so you beat me. There's no skill involved. Or you just drew the one card Orcus combo. So you won. So there's no skill. Like, how did you? You didn't beat me. Your deck played itself.
You raise your hand.
Is there local Orcus player? Is there skill in Yu-Gi-Oh in modern, last couple of years in this world of unbreakable boards? Is there still?
I would be starting on this side.
Because we started on that side last time.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm the most competitive player in this game.
I know, that's what we're going
I think that your opinion actually here is probably the most valuable. Trell plays in the most tournaments out of all of us, I would say. And has the most competitive history.
I say history.
When-
You don't go to as many.
Do you feel?
Like I used to.
Do you feel like when your opponent opens with this ib combo, this guard dragon combo, Orcus thing, whatever, and they make this unbreakable board, and let's say that you lose that game. Do you think that there was like any skill involved in their part? To what degree? Is there like what is that?
Yes. Reason being is everybody who knows me knows I play mostly combo decks. Like I live and die by the combo. And even outside of just me, just even watching your opponent, there's skill because I've actually forgotten a combo mid combo, and that matters when you're on the clock and you're playing an actual opponent in front of you. Also, with that being said, we are now in a position of where we have link monsters and we have the extra monster zone. So your zones are very important. There have been times when I had full combo, but I put one monster in the wrong zone and I can't move it. That changed up everything I'm going to do now. So, but I still have to end on a decent board to counteract my opponent or to slow my opponent down. So I have to come up with another play from that point on to see if I actually can do it. There's a lot of skill in it. World Chalice. World Chalice was one of those decks that kind of was hit or miss, but it was good for what it was.
Way back when World Challenge?
Even just in general, even if you play World Chalice today, it does a lot, right? It's one of those decks.
Summon a lot.
Yeah, it does a lot. It's one of those decks that does a lot and can continue to move. But the thing is, and I played World Chalice. World Chalice does not have like one set combo, but it can do so much. So the thing is, you can think that you're learning the deck and you know how to play it, but there's so much more that you can learn from it. I also think the same can be said of control decks. Everybody says it's easy to play in set 5. That part's true. But knowing when to interact, knowing when to respond takes so much more skill than you think. Yeah. Sure, okay, I'm playing Pelios and all 5 of these are cards I can activate anytime I want to. But do you shotgun the first trap card on the first play your opponent makes? Yeah. Exactly. So the thing is, it takes skill. Like I have this Ash. I can ask you right here, but I can wait to a better point in your combo and ask you there to where I know you don't have a follow up from there. Like these type of things matter. Like thinking that far ahead matters. That's what skill is.
I also say it's skill also after, like you say, your opponent has his one card thing, he makes all those combos. There's also skill in breaking the said board that he just made. You have to know how to, I know what this does, I know what that does, I know what that does. How do I get around that? And there's skill in doing that. Knowing what cards to bait out, what cards to the chain blocking. Knowing when I have to do this because he's gonna do that, and that'll make me do this, so I can free up this, and I can keep on playing. Not just activate effect. He's gonna negate it. I can't play anymore because I don't know how to play out of this.
There's also skill that's skill in the middle of a game, which is extremely important. But it sometimes does feel like with those one card combos, there's no skill, but there was skill well before that point that got that player to where they are now. There's a skill in picking what type of deck to play for certain events. There's a skill in picking what tech cards you're going to run in your deck. There's a skill for
side decking itself. Is a skill.
There's a skill for knowing your own play style as well. Mm-hmm. That's also a thing. I mean, because anybody can say, "Oh, this deck won the YCS, I'm going to pick it up and play it,"
but
and then you realize that you're trash with that deck.
Like they say, "Oh, the good players, they all just play the best decks. That's why they win." That's not true because a lot of us play the best decks and we
don't win.
So. Like there's if at that very moment you say there's no skill, there was skill somewhere in there.
So skill in bluffing.
No, something that I think keep that point. Something that I think that also speaks a bit to what Trell mentioned before is there's this idea online. A lot of people will see these top 32 deck lists, right? Okay, top 32 of YCS whatever. There were 17 Orcus decks and 10 Sky Strikers, and so what they might get from that is well, these Orcus players must not have any skill. They're playing the same deck as everyone else was. Why is it that, like, why do people think they're so good? They're just running the same old established cookie cutter thing. So, is there some skill in topping if you're playing the same thing everyone else is playing?
Just how we just said, deck building itself, and as he said, knowing your play style is a skill in itself. Not all those Orcus decks that top were the same card, verbatim for each thing. Some cards that work for some may not work for others. I think the one deck I kind of copied off Trell, this was way back when, was old school Shiranui, that some cards that Trell played that he liked, he talked to me, I was like, I don't really like that card. I'm not really feeling it. So I'm gonna run this. And he's like, okay, play it your style. If you're comfortable with it, go ahead with it. I mean, it just depends on you. That one card that one person runs, you may see it one time when you don't need it. You be like, I'm not really feeling this. I don't like it.
Another thing that comes along with that too is like I said, it may have been 17 Orcus at the top. Even if there were Orcus that were verbatim card for card, the thing is, like I said before, is knowing your interactions. Like, you don't just build a deck and say it's a good deck and not practice it. You know what I mean? Like, so you have to know what the hell you're doing with it. So even these 17 Orcus that may have top, or these 10 Skystrikers they may have top, they face somebody playing a similar, if not the same deck, and you have to know what to do in those interactions.
Yeah, that mirror match.
Mirror matches are hell. Like, for anybody, I don't care what deck you're playing. Imagine the Skystriker players that mirror match. In fact, imagine now, especially nowadays with the Orcus players, most Orcus decks these days are going second Orcus deck. So you playing Orcus deck and I'm playing Orcus deck, we both want to go second. I want the die roll.
Well,
Now you have to know how to go first and not die to me who wants to go second.
so you have to know what the going second Orcus deck wants to do. You gotta
Exactly.
play counter to that so that you can survive their stuff
And also
still
followers.
hold cards for your followers.
So that matters. So yes, there's definitely skill in Yu-Gi-Oh! It may not seem like it.
And also different. Not everybody played the same opponents.
That's true.
Yeah, everybody had a different day to get to the top 32, I think, is a really important part.
So sometimes your road to the top 16 is not the same as my road to top 16.
Maybe I had 2 buys. Maybe I had 3 buys.
Oh yeah, the 2 buys.
I think another really important thing now, in the current format that we're in, where, Nibiru exists, Dark Ruler no more exists, going second is a lot stronger. I think that after after both players get their first turn, and things might get a little grindy, I think that's where a lot of skill shows too.
Yeah.
Because yes, there are people who have just memorized a 1-card combo and they can coast off that to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
But the moment that you have to get in the trenches
And make decisions.
Yeah,
and
they don't die
grind,
for that one combo. Then
Or that time when somebody interrupts you mid combo.
yeah, a combo
Now,
gets
now you take skill. You
Baylor
gotta
Dash.
Figure
What
out
else
how you
can I
gonna
do?
get
different route.
Yeah, I mean, is that something that I can take a deck list from and the TCG player deck archives, copy this deck? Can I go and win, a YCS just because I have the deck list? I don't think so.
Nope.
Nope.
Not even a little.
Otherwise, everybody would be winning.
Exactly.
Another
I
thing,
remember
too- you go ahead.
because I remember Zoo format where deck lists really were just almost copy
Card
and
for card,
paste.
the exact thing. Over.
But it just be. I remember I added Zoo to my Pendulum deck because Zoo's really strong. I didn't know what I was doing with Zoo. I knew how
the
to.
cards were good. That's
I
all
knew
you
the
did.
cards were
That's all
good.
you
I knew
did.
Dryden was good, so I could use them.
Right, interruption.
But I couldn't play around
They just
anything.
know there's one good card.
My boards would get broken.
Same.
I couldn't figure out how to get the most out of Zoo because it really did take practice, knowing matchups.
Practice.
Like,
You talking about
I-
practice?
cause like,
Practice?
I guess, where does skill come from, right?
Yeah.
The one thing no one wants to do.
Practice.
Practice. Oh,
Yeah.
read your cards.
Work hard.
Experience too.
They just think they just want everything hit.
So-
I'm playing a good deck.
So
Give
some
me a win.
advice then for people who feel like they don't have any skill in this game. I'm bad at this. I just built the Sky Striker deck that I saw online. Why am I not winning? Like, what is a thing that you would recommend doing? It can be general or specific. It could be like what do you guys think?
It's not gonna be that.
You need to play as much as you possibly can against any and everybody, even like really random rogue matchups, because you need to start. You gotta build up that knowledge of interactions. That takes you so far in this game. Just knowing how things work.
Definitely takes you very far.
Like, I wouldn't say it's everything, but whew. I mean, just like a week's worth of practice before any given tournament it will show a noticeable difference in how comfortable you feel playing versus going in just cold.
Not even say, I mean, and kind of on the opposite side, sometimes I mean, Sky Striker just might not be your deck. It just might not be something where you're invested in as a player to want. I don't say to want to care, but to want
It's
to
a
just
play style thing.
Yes, because I know I can't play. I'm not gonna begin to play things like Orcus or. I probably could play Orcus, but I'm not like Salamangreat.
Charles like, no, he couldn't.
I could. I mean,
Charles gonna teach him the combos.
what's that? Well, a better example, Salamangreat. I'll never learn how to play Salamangreat. It's not my play style. It's not something I want to learn. I'm not gonna play Salamangreats, and like, it's just me.
Charles, what's your advice to skillless Jimmy? He found his deck list online.
On the comments saying, "My name's Jimmy."
He's not, but he keeps losing at locals. Charles, what's going wrong here?
Well, my advice is attitude is half the battle. Skill, okay, yeah, it's easy to say that this game has no skill. It's so easy to say that. On the offhand, if you feel like it has no skill, then why don't you add something to it, right? I mean, just being realistic. If you feel like the game has no skill, then why don't you show us something that's skillful and that's good? Which is all the decks that we currently have, but you think that those don't have any skill. So why don't you introduce something that's skillful to us? That's on the optimistic side, first off. On the pessimistic side, you just can't find any other. If the game is just that bad and everything is,
then quit.
Yeah, just quit. That is I'm just being completely realistic here. I like people being in the game, but I also don't want people in the game who just find every reason to bitch about it.
But you
want to play it. Like, I mean, it's like, totally different subject. Just real quick, is that it's like us all bitching about the prices of cars, but we still buying. I'm like, don't do it. I mean, oh man, this gas is really high.
At some point in time, once you pass the point of having a right to complain about things.
You know, I mean, that's my thing. Like, okay, half of it is the attitude. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I tell you, I hate back row decks. And I probably will complain about them, but not like to my opponent's face. I mean, you get a pro, I'm probably cussing you out through the screen. I'm not gonna lie to you. But I'm still gonna learn to play through it. Like I say, it still takes skill. It takes skill for you to break this damn 5 back row board, right? That takes skill. And it takes skill for you to know when to interact with me. So, optimistically, if you care enough, like Larry said, if you actually care enough to want to learn, then you're gonna do just that. And another thing too is learning other decks, not just your own playstyle. I've learned that. Not just your own playstyle. Learning other decks also shows you the skill in those decks as well. Because like he said, he's not playing Salamangreat. Doesn't mean that he can't play Salamangreat. He just doesn't want to. It's not for him, right? But if he was to learn that deck, he'd see why other people play the deck. I can see why this is done this way. Not for me, but I see why they've done it this way, right? Same with me and Ritual Beast. You never play that.
No, Ritual Beast is different. Don't say that.
Well, the thing was, that's how I learned how to beat Ritual Beast. I learned how to play it because when I first played against Ritual Beast, I could not beat it. And I couldn't understand why. And then I learned how to play the deck, and I learned how to beat it. So and I learned that this is what the hell they're doing. So learning other playstyle, learning other decks besides what you're so. Because the thing is, we as people, we're very niche. We don't like to go out of our own comfort zone. You know what I'm saying? We don't like change. And so if this is what I like, this is what I'm going to stick to. But actually having a different perspective on things allows me to realize that there's more to it besides what I know. Because I can be the best volcanic player in the Yu-Gi-Oh! History of the world, but it's the only deck I know how to play, so I don't know how to interact with my opponent who's playing Guru Control. It doesn't make me any better.
So I guess in summary, our advice is practice.
Learn
your play style and
win or quit.
Win or quit.
Attitude.
Wow.
Attitude.